We are so excited to have Tamara McMillan here. She is an author and award-winning lecturer. She teaches courses on leadership and creativity. She was our keynote speaker at our ALD conference in Buffalo, New York in 2019 and was a big hit. So we wanted to bring her back to talk with all of you about leveraging your inner genius. So please help me welcome to the Leadership Summit, Tamara McMillan.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello. I was getting ready to say good morning because, just trying to make the transition. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, my goodness. Wonderful. So we are almost 160 and counting. So again, to Eileen's point, please give yourself a round of applause and understanding that this is what it means to be a scholar and a leader and stacking the deck in your favor. So I'm getting ready to share my slide deck so we can jump right in because there's so much dynamic and great content for you. So please, if you do not, while I'm getting ready to share my PowerPoint, make sure you have a pen and you have a pad, a notebook, because there's going to be so much greatness for you to dive into and to feed yourself much later than today. So excuse me while I go and share my slide deck. All right, wonderful. So here we are again, Alpha Lambda Delta Student Leadership Summit, the power of your genius. So let me help each and every one of you, for those of you that have never heard it before or no one's ever told you, you are a genius. You have something special that you must do, and it starts not now, but right now. Yeah, wonderful. So, and here are some of your brilliant, wonderful, smiling faces. I would be remiss if I did not thank Eileen Merberg, Tris, Christine, and Kathy. The work that you do is so critical and so important. Please know it does not go unnoticed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So here I am, Tamara McMillan. Eileen told you a little bit about me, but that's not important because it's about each and every one of you here today. So here's kind of a basic outline. It's going to be truncated because you have so much to do. I want to spend about 13, 14 minutes with you, and then you all have an opportunity to ask a few questions if you have any, and then you can go, then you'll have an opportunity to go on to do the other things you have to do for today. We're going to do a warm up, and I'm going to talk about expectations. And then I'm going to give you 3 things. 3 is the magic number. And then we'll go and have an opportunity to do a Q&A. So first and foremost, kind of Eileen already kicked us off in terms of an actual warm up, but I want to do a warm up as well. So I'm wanting you to reflect. I'm wanting you to think back to the last year or so, year and a half. And I want you to type in the chat, what have you learned about yourself over the last year, year and a half? What have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about yourself? So did you learn a new craft? Did you learn a new language? Did you learn that, you know what, I really do like speaking. I really am great at writing proposals. What have you learned about yourself? And please capture them in the chat. Please capture them in the chat. Please capture them in the chat. Listen, the chat is going crazy. That's a wonderful thing. I'm so excited about it already. What have you learned about yourself? What have you learned? All right, we up to 44, 49, 50. Great. What have you learned about yourself? All right. So either Trish or Eileen, can you read some of the things that are written and captured in the chat for us so that we can hear some of them?
There's so many, I can't keep up.
I know, it's like almost 100. So,
okay. I really like weightlifting. I learned that I can be confident, that I have a natural ability to write poems.
Beautiful.
A lot of time management. Oh, that's great.
Love it.
A lot of time management. I can do anything I set my mind to. I learned how to crochet. I learned I can do more than I expected. I can work under pressure. That that I'm an impatient person and
Wow.
everything planned. A lot of time management, how to be independent, the love of reading again. I learned that the medical field is right for me. Nice.
Love it. Wonderful.
Awesome. Talking to family is important. You have to be your own motivator and not compare yourself to others.
I love that for a multitude of reasons. Awesome. Thank you, Eileen, for sharing, and for everybody else who shared. So one of the things that I do as not only a professor and a professional speaker, but also a certified creative as a consultant, we want to make sure that when you're coming into spaces, you're warming up. So for those of you that, the individual who mentioned lifting weights, you don't go into the gym and you just start bench pressing 250 pounds, just like you don't go into an exam and you don't go into an exam without first preparing for that exam. You don't go take your driver's test without first, again, reading and passing the written test, and then you go out and practice with your parent, your big brother, your aunt, or whomever it is. So I'm wanting you to get into the habit of warming yourself up before you move into any space, so then that way you can be prepared to show up as your authentic self, and you can be prepared to be the very best on that particular day, okay? So one of the things that I want to give you before we get into the 3 activities that I'm going to invite you to begin considering as you move, not only in your new leadership positions with Alpha Lambda Delta, but also for your life. I believe that it is critical to build a tribe, build a team. Eileen Merberg is one of my tribe members. When I need something, if I have a question, I know at any given moment, I can send her an email. I can call her on the back phone because I do have her number. So that's a coveted position. And then I would be able to get a reply. So as you're building your team as the brilliant individuals that you are with Alpha Lambda Delta, make sure when you're in the breakout sessions after we finish here in this particular session, make sure you're introducing yourself to at least 3 people that you do not know, because this will begin building out your ALD tribe. And then making sure that no matter where you are, whether you're on campus, whether you're in a virtual setting, whether you are in classroom, you are again introducing yourself. The more you know about yourself and the more you're able to introduce yourself and be able to build out your tribe, the better you're able to lean into different places and intersect. The other thing that I'm wanting you all to think about is, what are your expectations for this summit? Everything you enter into, you should have some expectations, because your professors have expectations of you. There's an expectation for you as a leader in this particular organization. So you yourself should have some expectations as well. And what are some of your expectations? Write down at least 3. Because I told you 3 is the magic number. Write down 3 expectations you have for this particular summit, because you want to make sure that you're walking away with something. Why? Because time is your most important resource, and it's the number way in which we pay compliments to one another. Does anybody know why in the chat? Why is time our most important resource? Why is time our most important resource? Can anybody, you can take your mic off for the one person to think they know. Why do you think time is our most important resource?
Because you can never get it back.
Is that you, Lily? Was that you, Lily?
No, it was Tenley.
I don't know who else said that. That was funny.
Okay, well, they said almost at the same time. Yes, exactly, because you can never get it back. So it would never be April the 17th at, what time is it now? 12:21 p.m. Again, matter of fact, it's not even that right now. So how are you not only leveraging your genius, but how are you utilizing your time? And then Eileen read off that someone learned about themselves, time management. So here we go, buckle up, getting ready to ride. So I indicated, I normally, and Eileen would probably be like, wow, you're switching it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm switching it up a little bit. I normally give 3 points. Now I'm going to give 3 activities. 3 activities for you to consider, not only for this summer, but as you enter into your leadership position and also as you continue leading your life. 3 activities. Why an activity? Because it is active and there's nothing passive about you and your responsibilities. And it's something that's happening or being done. So I want you to think about these 3 things as activities that you can either be an active practitioner of or in the process of becoming and or doing. All right. So the first activity, how and which ways are you leveraging your purpose? Each and every one of you have something specific that you must do, and it cannot be delegated to anybody else. How are you leveraging your purpose in life? How are you building upon all of the things that you've received from, again, your college classes? How are you building upon all of the things that you've received in this particular organization? How are you building upon all of those things to make your genius even more prominent? And then how are you then narrating your story? You see, some of you are so brilliant, you're so warm, so considerate, but you're constantly entertaining possibly these negative narratives. Well, oh my goodness, what happens if I don't get an A? Oh my goodness, what happens if I get it wrong? Oh my goodness, I don't know if I have all of the skills and the tools to move forward. Well, guess what? No one that was a genius that done anything worth mentioning, they did not have all of the answers either. However, it did not under any circumstances prevent them from moving forward. Narrate your story with what you know right now. Narrate your story so then that way the individuals that are coming behind you know that there is a place and a space for them. Each and every one of you have light. We're all light frequency for the math people in the room. That's not me, but all the math people in the room. We know that we're frequency, and the higher your frequency, then guess what? You're attracting other people around you because you're light. Someone needs to see your light. So stop questioning your genius. You already are a genius. Because you might get some things wrong, that's just life telling you, maybe we need to slow it up. Maybe we need to stop, and maybe we need to make a purposeful pivot. How are we taking all of this great content, all of this great information, and using it for the benefit of our purpose? How are you leveraging your purpose as a genius? Activity number 2. How are you showing up in your authentic shine? So I love Eileen reading the one comment. You know what? The one was, I realized I don't like something. What was that comment? I can't remember. Dang it.
It was something about, shoot, I forget, it's too far up there. It's something about chaos or needing to be organized.
Right. Thank you. So yes. So for the individual that said, you know what? I realize with my genius and the way in which I can show up as my very best self, I can't be around chaos. I can't be around individuals or things that are unorganized. In order for me to be able to do that, I have to be able to have my planner. I need to be able to know, okay, what are all the things that are coming next? When are my tests? When are my leadership meetings? What group project meetings do I have? The other thing about being your authentic self, what actual rituals or daily routines do you have right now that allow you to do what? Sharpen your saw. For those of you that know Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, love it. How are you sharpening your saw? And that's another way in which we can build out our team or our tribe, because they not only hold us up, they hold us accountable, and then guess what? Allow us to be vulnerable as well. And how are you taking in all of this information and staying in alignment with your truth? What's your truth, Lily? What's your truth, Emma? Who are you and what do you know for sure? Who are you and what do you know for sure? And some of you are thinking, because I'm only 17, 18, 19. Well, what do you mean? What do I know for sure? Well, I'm only 17 and 18. Well, there's some things that you know for sure. And what is that? And that's the power of, again, your genius, because you get an opportunity to do what? Stand in that space, right, Anthony? How are you moving forward in ways that allow other people to not only shine in their genius, but you're making space, you're making room for them to do just that? What's your truth, and how does that align in all of the things that you're doing to be in that particular space? I don't know if we could do this really, really quick. So there's reactions, and I'm certain all of you know about all the reactions at the bottom of the screen. For those of you that have a ritual or a daily routine, maybe it's you get up and you sing a song or you play a song, you read a mantra. It could be maybe a favorite Bible verse. Maybe it could be a favorite line from a poem. It could be a lyrical content. For those of you that have a daily ritual routine, give me a thumbs up with one of the reactions. So then that way, Eileen and I and Trish know exactly we're not the only ones. Thank you. MIC, some wonderful thumbs up, right? That helps to keep you in alignment, because research indicates that the first 15 to 45 minutes of our day sets the way in which we show up and how we interact with the world. When you take care of your mind, it doesn't matter what comes at you. You are clear on what the day looks like, who you are, and how you show up in that space. I have my mom, I'll do anything. Listen, you are brilliant scholars. Y'all pick the phone up, y'all tweeting, booping and bopping in the morning. I don't do anything until I take care of my mind. I listen to some motivational videos by some of my favorites. Then I'm in the shower and I'm doing my routine. What's your truth? What do you know for sure? Who are you? And what does that look like in alignment? And last but certainly not least, activity number 3. What does your power base look like? Your team, your tribe, your support system. What does that support system look like? Some of you have, best friend groups. Some of you belong to fraternities and sororities. You all belong to this dynamic National Honor Society. Where do you go when you need to decompress? Because it does happen. We live in a very noisy world, and especially over the last year and a half, we've dealt with a lot of enormity of pain, struggle, trauma, death all around us, doing school differently, doing you differently. Where did you go so you can unpack and pull back those layers so you could take care of yourself? So when you had to come to this dynamic summit, you could be your authentic self. How are they supporting your uniqueness? Right? Some of you had your best friend since you were in high school. And then some of you had a best friend in high school. And then maybe, you and that best friend went separate ways when you went on to college, or maybe one went into the military, and you went into college, or maybe one didn't. They wanted to go into the world of work. Sometimes when you're talking about our power bases, we need to refuel them, because some relationships need to be modulated or recalibrated. And it doesn't mean we don't love them, and it doesn't mean that we don't need them, we don't care about them. But when we're ascending in your brilliance and your genius, not everybody can go along at the same pace, but that doesn't mean you stop. You own your genius, because someone, again, needs to see your light. They need to experience who you are. And that's where wonderful experiences like the summit come into play, because you get to do what? Rub elbows with individuals that are in the same space, place, and moving in the same direction that you're moving in. Number 3. So now taking it forward, first thing is, how are you leveraging your purpose? How are you telling and narrating your story so other individuals can see that there is a way? There's a space for them to be brilliant, to be cool, even weird, like whatever it is, just own your brilliance, because you have something that you have to do and no one else can do it, right? And the second thing is, what is your truth? One of my favorite quotes, Mark Twain, the two most important days in your life is the day you were born and the day you find out why. And then we're going to add on Oprah Winfrey. And she said, and when you know why, it is incumbent upon you to get to the business of doing that. Get to the business of doing that. But you can't do that unless you're in your truth. Unless you're in your truth. And last but certainly not least, then who do you bring around you so they can support you, they can pour into you, they can hold you up, hold you accountable, but also allow you to be vulnerable when you are doing what? Moving toward your light and your truth as a genius so you can leverage it. So again, at the risk of sounding redundant, one of the first things I said, you are personally invited. If you've never been invited, you are personally invited right now to unleash your genius on the world. Your genius level talent is needed, if not even more at this particular time. This here is a moment for each and every one of you to shine. When we're in our element, when we're in our moment, when we're in our truth, nothing or no one can corrupt that because we're moving towards something that's bigger than each and every one of us. It gives us an opportunity to be free, to embrace the enormity of who we are and the things that we're here to complete to make this world better than we found it. There's nothing more exciting than liberation, moving past pain and trauma, and uncertainty and failure. And know this, I am so ever grateful for each and every one of you. I understand that you all have the enormity of doing dynamic things, and that comes at a price. It comes at a cost. There's a bag for you all to carry, but I promise you, you have everything that you need to be successful, to leverage your genius, to move forward and show by example that we are stronger together, empowered together. And remember this, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Comfort is good. Yes, Anthony, Emma, and Lily, but nothing grows there. So here's my contact information for those of you that might want to reach out. I am on social media. I am on IG at liberated_women. I'm on Facebook as Tamara L. McMillan. My website is empowerme.com, EMPOWERMEE.com. And now, if there are any questions, please either raise your hand or drop them in the chat, and Trish will help me facilitate that. Yeah.
Wonderful. Oh my God, Tamara, thank you so much. Yay.
Thank you. Yay.
Great. And so let's give it a few minutes. If
Welcome,
the chat's going crazy
welcome,
with thank yous,
Michael.
which is
You're
very
welcome,
sweet.
Nina. You're welcome,
Maybe,
Jessica.
if anybody would like to turn your camera on and unmute yourselves.
One question in the chat.
Yes.
What is your calling and how did you find it?
Wow. Wow.
Nice.
I know that I am here to speak and to educate. That's my truth. I know that, and I will do that until there is breath in me. My daughter says, I have a daughter, and she says, yeah, I'll bury my mother speaking. So that I know for sure. And because of Eileen, again, when I tell you she's a part of, my tribe, her and Trish, I really mean that. So Eileen was the director in one of the offices that I worked in higher education. And she and I had a meeting, and she says, well, what do you see yourself doing next? And this is almost exactly her words. And I said, I see myself teaching. And she said, you know what, so do I. And she made an introduction between myself and the department head for International Center for Studies in Creativity, and said, hey, I have a lot going on. I can't teach this leadership course. I think Tamara will be a great fit for it. And hence, it's been history. I've been teaching now, I think going on 8 years. I've won Teacher of the Year at Buffalo State College 3 of the 7 or 8 years I've been teaching. So that's what I know that I'm here to do. So yes.
Nice.
Thank
Great.
you.
Another question. How did you find the confidence to pursue your purpose in life? So you sort of know it and you feel it, but the confidence to really pursue it.
So the first thing I said goes back to the number one thing. How are you showing up in your truth? What are you doing to feed your mind? What are you doing to stay connected with what it is that you know that you love to do? And then who's on your team, your tribe, and the people that hold you up and the people that will support you no matter what, even if they don't always agree with you. Let me help you all, brilliant scholars, in your genius. Disagreements are necessary. Disagreements are not a bad thing. Just because we disagree with one another does not mean we have to be disagreeable. So it's about knowing it and knowing it. And sometimes you might not even be able to explain it, but you just feel it. There's this innate thing that you really can't find words for it, language, but you know every time you do it, time stands still. You're in love. You're like, oh my goodness, this is so wonderful. Continue being that, know everything about it, and then find your tribe, find your team that will hold you up, but also hold you accountable.
Okay, we have many questions coming in. Let me try and get this this other one. I'm going to combine two if I can. So life is not always puppies and roses, right? So there's some difficulties we face, certainly in the last year or so. So I'm paraphrasing a couple questions. So how do you stay motivated during difficult times or transitions at challenging times, especially maybe with anxiety and uncertainty? So that's a couple questions.
Wow. Okay. I'll try to remember all of that. This is what I will say about, again, your genius. When you're in your genius, going back to my Mark Twain quote, when the two most important days, right? When you are born and when you find out what you're supposed to be doing. Now I'm going to couple that with Simon Sinek, 2009 TED Talk. When you know your why, nothing or no one can corrupt that. When you know your why, nothing or no one can corrupt that. So motivation is internal. If someone has to be motivating you, I would say to you that maybe what you think might be your truth or your genius zone isn't, because no one has to motivate Eileen, Lillian, Emma, or Tamara, or Tris to do the thing that we do, because it's innate. So that's the first thing I would say. Motivation is internal. Now you can be inspired, and there's other ways in which you can be inspired by, again, your team, by staying within your expert, learning more. Those are the things that I would say about that. Challenging times, absolutely. We've all experienced them. It doesn't matter whether you're in your genius zone or not, or trying to figure it out. Life is going to happen to each and every one of us. Think about any person that you follow, any of your heroes or your sheroes, individuals that have done things that are worth mentioning. They too have had challenges. So we have to rid our pretty heads of believing that we will be exempt from challenge and failure and difficulty. It's not. I believe it is those items that provide us with opportunities to take the dots out of our pockets, those dots that you've been collecting, and put them together and connect them. Use them as a way to move forward, to help somebody else's life becomes better. Because when you make someone else's life better, your life is better.
Nice. Lots of questions, again, on a theme that I'm going to try and collapse into one question. Tribe, finding my tribe. How do I know who is good for it and not good for it? Tips for finding my tribe, like-minded people to support me on my journey. How do you know who should be in your tribe or not? Tips for finding that group for you.
So great question. Great questions. So my first and foremost piece of that is start where you are. All right, start where you are. So let's just say hypothetically, you're interested in astronomy or medicine or science. Start there. You have clubs and organizations on your college campuses of individuals who say that they're interested in that as well. Start there. The other thing, for those of you that might have best friends, that might have older siblings or even aunts and uncles that you're close to, and that you can pull on them, you can connect with them, ask them, hey, you know what? I am creating my tribe, my board of directors. Each and every one of you should have a board of director for your life because you're the CEO of your genius. Create a board of directors, and your board of directors should be just as diverse as our world is. My board of directors, like I said, Eileen is on my board of directors, and then I even have a visible board of directors. That's your Oprahs of the world. Oprah's not going to be calling me, but she's still my invisible board of director. Start where you are. Have individuals that are younger than you, have individuals that are your same age, and then have individuals that are older than you, different genders, even ethnicities, because you want a wealth of knowledge to be able to pull from when it's time for you to have a question. And you want individuals that are on your tribe or in your team or on your team who are not just going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to give it to you straight, but they're going to do it with love and compassion. So start where you are to answer your question. Clubs, organizations, best friends, family members, even look at your advisors through Alpha Lambda Delta. Start there. Now, I wouldn't, again, encourage you to have a tribe of 55 people because that's just too many people talking and you don't have a focus. But if there's specific things that you're wanting to concentrate on when you're talking about moving in your genius to find, again, your tribe, find individuals that feel areas where you feel like you need some assistance, right? So for me, my thing is I have a spiritual coach that's on my team. I have a financial coach that's on my team as well. So then that would be like, okay, Tamara, you didn't buy another, Louis, did you? You didn't get them red bottoms, did you? Keeping me and making sure that, again, I'm doing what I profess with my mouth. So start where you are first and foremost. And I'll say, 3 to 5 people to begin with. And then as you are in expectation with them, you let them know, here's what I need from you. Can you dedicate this time and this experience? And then as you're moving forward in that, you'll determine whether that 3 to 5 person tribe is enough or if you need more, because you'll be able to see if there are any gaps.
Okay. Wonderful. Great advice. Okay. We are out of time.
We are. I know it's like painful. It's so painful. I'm just, again, so excited to be here with you, Eileen, Trish, and 163 of you on a Saturday. Again, give yourselves a round of applause because you could have been anywhere on a Saturday. Who wants to be on Zoom again? But that just goes to show, again, how you are leveraging your genius. So thank you. And all that I want for you, know that you have everything that you need in love and liberation.
Oh, thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
All right.
Have a
Bye-bye.
Saturday. Bye, everybody. Take care. Bye.